I am from Fort Lauderdale. Went to high school in Fort Lauderdale and for lived in Fort Lauderdale for what 15 years. So that is my home. That is the airport I fly into, and you never really stop to think that something like this would happen in your neighborhood. But the shooter, last name is Santiago, Esteban Santiago, and you can see his picture in the corner of your screen. Went on a shooting spree, and if you see the video, you'll see that the shooter did not look like he was using his military training. He just kind of frantically pulled his gun out randomly and began shooting people, killing 5 people and injuring many, many more. He was apprehended and arraigned on multiple counts of murder, several which carried the death penalty. So this is where we are. I'm a little bit terrified of the idea of what this would have been if he actually had the composure and the training of a soldier. Like, you could see the video and you could see that it wasn't like a professional soldier out there shooting. And the only reason I phrase it like this is because we've seen what military officers or former Marines, we've seen what they can do when they, I don't know, I don't want to label it as all mental illness, but when they come to the point where they're really ready to kill somebody. You saw it in Dallas with the shooter who, at the end of a Black Lives Matter protest, took it upon himself to stalk and kill, I believe it was 9 police officers. And you saw how he moved through the crowd. You saw how he ducked and dodged behind corners. You saw his military training in action. And you saw that one person, literally held that city hostage and in fear for hours. And then you see Santiago in the Fort Lauderdale airport, where he just pulled out his gun and started shooting. And I'm not going to use the phrase "it could have been worse" because 5 people are dead, but I'm terrified of the idea of what our military personnel can do if they decide they want to kill people. And which is why we absolutely have to take. Now, there's a lot of background to the story where it was reported this guy had mental illness. It was reported he went into the FBI, allegedly went into an FBI office and let them know that he was being forced to do something by ISIS. They didn't hold him. He actually had his gun returned to him at a certain point. There were a lot of points, it seems, where this shooter could have been apprehended and this could have been avoided. So there's a lot of responsibility that's going to be laid at the feet of our agencies who are charged with protecting us, and see where there was a disconnect and where he fell through the gaps. But still, whenever I see stories like this, the first thing I think of is the kind of damage that our military officers can do, and not just officers, but enlisted men and ex-Marines, former, whatever branch. When you see the training that they have and you see the kind of damage they are trained to inflict, we have to be concerned about the mental health of our military personnel. We have to be. It's in the best interest of our safety to pay attention to the mental health of these people that we train. And I say these people because it's a myriad of backgrounds, ethnicities, nationalities, religions. It's a whole lot of people, but we train them to be killers. And then once we're done with them, we release them back into the general society without any regard to their mental health in many cases. And if they do get any attention to their mental health, a lot of times it's backlogged for years. So we have a responsibility as a community, as a nation, to protect ourselves by protecting our soldiers once they're done doing what they do. Tragic story, and I don't have a lot more information than that at this time, but we'll have to keep our eye on it in terms of the investigations, the multiple investigations, particularly at the different checkpoints where, not just checkpoints, but the different warnings that were given, and the different points where he could have been stopped. So we'll keep our eye on that.